Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everything is going great. And as we say around here, I hope Santa Claus found you. So, given all that, this story is from Japan. So I hope that you all enjoy it. I hope that you'll pull up a stump as always. And yeah, let's jump into the video. Thank you for watching. I have a weird story that happened when I was abroad, living with a military family that I still can't explain. And it ended up being the catalyst and the reason that I firmly believe in spirits now. So back then, I was a senior in high school and I was a military brat. My family was stationed in Misawa, Japan. Misawa is very remote and famously haunted. There are countless stories of ghosts and spirits from wars all across the centuries, and countless Japanese superstitions from over the centuries. And by this point, it's late November, so it's getting cold, and it's a Saturday night. I live off base, so my friends come by to my house to hang out. There's 2 girls and 2 boys. The boys are Clay and John, and the 2 girls are Emily and Sam. What we want to do is see some cool haikyo, which is the term for abandoned places. And some quick backstory is that military culture is weird. Clay and John are basically from redneck families. Sam is from a big Catholic East Coast Boston family, and Emily is half Japanese. So you get your redneck patriot kids with local international students, and it's a funny mix anyways, I think so. So someone at our military school said they saw a ghost earlier that month. So everybody's jealous of them, and we try to play it off as a joke and all that stuff. But ghost sightings are super common here in Misawa. And back then, as I said, I was a know-it-all, didn't believe in anything ever, but even then I still had like this feeling that Japan was haunted somehow. Eventually we decide to explore some rural countryside. There's tons of abandoned farmhouses, there's abandoned buildings everywhere around there. And we're too young to drive in Japan, so we grab our bikes and backpacks. We stock up at a rural Lawson, which I guess would be a 7-Eleven type of convenience store. We buy snacks, liquor, candy, pack some cigarettes and some flashlights. And my friend knows of an abandoned Shinto shrine. We head there as the sun starts going down, and nobody is there. We assume that it's abandoned, but we were fools. It looks very similar to the picture here. And the shrines are not abandoned, they're empty for a reason. We slide the shrine door open, and it smells like aged wood, but it's perfectly clean on the inside. The floors creak, but there's no dust at all. And we can hear a cat crying somewhere in the woods around the shrine. And it startled all of us, but then we laughed it off once we realized it was just a cat. So we close the door and huddle in. It's super small in there. Our 5 bodies help keep it warm as it gets dark. And we're sort of exploring each other at this time. We've almost all hooked up with each other, and I think that everyone in the group had been with everyone else, so everybody was at least bi. We sit inside and drink, hoping for something interesting to happen. John is trying to feel up Emily, and Emily seems to have a crush on Sam. We're being dumb, horny teens and getting drunk. Eventually, though, we get bored of that and we start telling horror stories with the flashlight. But this isn't scaring anybody, so we decide to play truth or dare, and the obvious stuff goes down. We're being, again, dumb, horny teenagers. My friend jokes that a spirit should be in there guarding the small shrine, and then suddenly the wind howls, and the panels on the shrine rattle super loudly, and we try to blow it off and keep drinking a while. Eventually, people need to go to the bathroom. So we open the shrine door and oh wow, it's actually been snowing. It's maybe 2 inches of fresh snow on the ground. The moonlight against the fresh snow makes everything feel very bright, especially after leaving the dark shrine. The shrine is nestled in the woods, so there's plenty of places to go to the bathroom. The girls take the flashlight and go together. John lights a cigarette and just starts going right there next to me, and Clay stays behind in the shrine. I try to go around to a secluded space to get some privacy, and eventually everybody finishes up. I see the girls coming back because of their flashlight. They're giggling and being very physical with each other. We regroup, shivering, and we all head back into the shrine. And suddenly we smell cigarette smoke, and Clay is smoking inside of the shrine. Emily gets really angry all of a sudden. She starts going off. She's like, "You can start a fire. The shrine attendant will smell the smoke. It's really bad to smoke in here." And Clay just shrugs and says, "Oh, my bad," and opens the door and walks out with a cigarette. He lazily slides it shut, but slams it so that it bounces open a bit. The smell lingers, and Emily is still really upset with him. Everyone wants a cigarette now, so we all eventually go back out, and we don't see Clay. So we shout for him, and before we can get creeped out, he actually responds, and he says that he's near a nearby gravesite. It's probably about give or take 30 yards away, so we walk over. We all take a smoke at the shrine's attached graveyard, and we're sitting on some family tombstones, and Emily is starting to calm down now, and she takes a swig of liquor. We finish our cigarettes and stamp them out and get rid of the butts and throw them into the woods. We walk back over to the shrine, and we're barely paying attention, so we get about 15 feet or so from the shrine when all of a sudden we hear a snarl, and it's like a blood-curdling snarl. We all scream and jump and start looking around, and there's this large cat sitting on top of the steps to the shrine. The door to the shrine is now closed, and we're thinking, did any of us do that? And we're looking around, and everyone's thinking the same thing, like I didn't do that. And just like that, we're all really alert of our surroundings, and we're getting goosebumps, and the cat is staring straight at us with these big eyes. We're just sitting there frozen. Nobody moves for about 30 seconds or so. Clay is the first to move. He approaches the cat. This cat makes the loudest snarl/screech I've ever heard come from an animal. Clay stops and he turns back at us. He looks terrified. We all glance at each other and we're all like, what the hell's happening right now? It just doesn't make sense. The large cat's like a statue, not blinking or moving. Clay is slowly backing away. We all slowly walk away from the shrine and back to our bikes in total silence. Every time we look back at the cat, it's just menacingly staring at us. Emily is like hyperventilating now. We get to our bikes and we slowly bike down the road to the main street. We're drunk and it just snowed, so we're going very slow. When we reach the first stop sign, we all stop and light up cigarettes. And I say, "What the hell was that?" Emily says it was some sort of kami, and kami is like a spirit. John and Sam burst out laughing. "It was just a cold cat, you guys are being babies." And Sam says it was probably just hungry. But Clay is just sitting there. His face is pale. He suddenly says, "I got the closest to it." And someone says, "So what? We saw the same cat." And Clay whispers and shrugs and says, "Didn't see no tracks." Clay is from a good country family. They hunt and track deer, good old USA type stuff. I realized what he meant immediately. Emily says, "Didn't see what?" He suddenly blurts out in a loud, twangy southern accent, "There weren't no paw prints coming from that cat. It didn't go through the snow." Emily says, "What are you saying?" Clay shakes his head and says, "That cat must have been in the shrine with us." Now we all have goosebumps. I say, "We left the door open too, to air out the smoke." Emily is panic breathing again. We all finish biking home but keep texting about it afterwards. The next day, Emily calls us all. She's crying. She says she spoke to her Japanese great-grandma. She starts saying some weird Japanese rituals we need to do. Apparently, we made a spirit really mad at the shrine, not by drinking or smoking, but by arguing and fighting. Apparently, fighting in a sacred space is, unforgivable. The spirit probably enjoyed watching us be drunk idiots. Emily's grandma said that it kept the snacks and alcohol that we left inside as an offering because we didn't go there and give it one. She also says these spirits are actually playful, but it either felt disrespected or left out, and if we don't do something, then it will toy with us and make our lives a living hell. And our arguments weren't acceptable in its home, so it kicked us out, that being why the door was closed. She said we needed to go back. She was crying because she didn't want to, but her great-grandmother said that it would be worse if 4 people went back instead of 5. Apparently 4 is super unlucky and it means death. She said we have to go make an offering, like snacks or drinks or cigarettes, all the stuff that we had. So we all go back the next day. By now the snow has melted again and it's actually partly sunny out and super nice there. We leave various snacks, candy, and some Lucky Strike matches. It's very calm now, serene. We didn't stay very long, it was just like we were doing a delivery. We bike back down the main road, and it's like a weight was lifted off our shoulders. We all go home, and we see each other at school on Monday. We talk about it all week, but after nothing happens, we eventually get bored of it, and things feel normal again. The following week, we kind of start agreeing and wondering if we just freaked ourselves out or not. It could have been just a cat kind of thing. But that weekend, we all got, quote, gifts. John found a dead bird in his driveway. Emily found a litter of dead baby mice. I found a dead mouse in my back porch. Sam found a dead rat in the gutter of her house's drain pipes. Clay's mom found an empty pack of Lucky Strike matches in her backyard. And after that she grounded Clay for smoking. Emily said that her grandma called these omiyage gifts. The spirit, or whatever it was repaying us. Emily said it meant that we are forgiven, but her grandma said that we could have just brought cat food. So sorry if you don't really find that entirely scary, but it's the closest thing I have to a ghost story. And if you just look up Misawa and ghosts, that's one of the most haunted places I've ever been to. So, how did you all feel about that story? I thought it was kind of wholesome at the end, to be honest. I don't know about you, but let me know what you thought. And as I said before, I hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. I hope you got spoiled and everything and got lots of stuff. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who commented with their condolences about my grandfather. It was... I don't know how, I can't describe the feeling it was. If he could see it, he'd be floored by it. I was floored by it. It's just wild. So all I can say is thank you. It really means a lot to me. And I guess to end the video off on like a better tone than last week, I want to tell you all what my favorite Japanese spirit / cryptid / whatever is. It would be the Gasha Dokoro by far. Now, if you're not sure what a Gasha Dokoro is, it's like the bones of those who have perished on the battlefield, and they kind of all go together to form a giant starving skeleton. They're called a yokai. And now that I'm reading this, I guess it's not just where soldiers have died, it's like areas like a mass grave, like there's a lot of famine or disease, a lot of sorrow that has wiped out the population. And because they all die without a proper burial or funeral rites, the souls and bones come together to create this giant skeleton, sometimes up to 15 times the size of an average person. The skeleton specters feed on lone travelers, biting their heads off and feasting on their bones and drinking their blood. It kind of really has that Dracula vibe to it, doesn't it? And like they're super stealthy and stuff, and like you can't even hear them coming. Yeah, once again, thank you for all the support. It's been so great to hear from you all. I know my voice is like monotone and stuff, but I really am thankful for it. And if you have any stories of your own that you'd like to have featured in a video, then you can send them to the email below. And otherwise, I'm going to repeat myself. I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and I hope that you had like Happy Holidays, got spoiled and all that stuff. So I will see you in the next one. And like, if you want to see me do a video, because I did videos before on like, oh, like top 5 cryptids and stuff. If you want to see more of those videos, then let me know, because I really enjoyed making those. So yeah, I'm just rambling on now. So I'll cut the video off. Love y'all. Have a good holiday, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and thank you for pulling up a stump.